Better late than never is what we say tonight as we welcome you to the STC race on another Thursday night. This is your friendly voice speaking, Eckhard von Glan, and with me tonight, as usual, it's Jose Estrada. Hello, Jose.
Hello, Eckhard. Hello, everybody.
And of course, also race direction, David Garcia is with me.
Hello, good night, Eckhard. Good night, everybody.
And if I'm not mistaken, Andreas Hultgreen, long time no see, mate.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, back in the fray, and we're running a little late. There was a bit of a server problem. Don't think we've quite fixed it, but we'll go ahead with the race anyway. See how far we get is actually the motto for tonight. Well, we're in Spa in Belgium in the Ardennes, so at least one of our races, Blue Flag races, Chris Layton does have a home race, as is Team Amy Degen, because one of the guys there, Lucas Degen, he's also from Belgium indeed. And qualifying has just finished, but a few words about the track and about the overall standings, I think, is what is up now. Jose, give me a quick hint. Are we with the track or with the standings?
We are with the track, Eckhard, with the different changes we made to this track to adapt it to the 2009 layout.
Yep, it's the new layout that you possibly know from TV, from the last Formula 1 races that were held there, where the Hamilton incident took place. We've got that chicane instead of the old bus stop chicane. Also, the pit lane is different. It ends now. You don't have to go all the way through the second half of the pit lane, which is for the GT races, but you can go straight on to the start, what used to be the start and finish straight for GT races. Also, the start will be held where the Formula 1 cars have their start. So turn 1 is source, this really nasty 180-degree kink there, and I did a little test drive yesterday, and I noticed that we also nicely switched the track a little bit. As you go into La Source, it falls off just a little bit to your right-hand side, which it does in real life, at least that's what it shows on TV, and which on the old track versions I wasn't quite satisfied with. Then of course there's Eau Rouge, there's Camel, there's Vacom, there's Bruxelles, there's Double Gauche, Campus, Coupole Frère, all the usual big turns, and we put in one or two extra curbs to prevent players from cutting, or if they really want to cut, then they will be heavily penalized for that by their car going up and down. And right now we're about to join the race. We have about 2 minutes before the race starts, and the qualification results were as follows. Roland Ehnström for Team Danielson Motorsports in 1, sitting pretty there, followed by Cristian Haba for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, and then the second Danielson car with Torbjörn Lindau in 3. Kevin Clark for the Flat Out Racing in 4, Johannes Norberg for the Black Visors in 5, Rami Kaukola for RPM in 6, Joko Gorenk and Michael Talok, 2 new names here for DHR Simcraft, putting the Porsche in 7 and 8, and then the first of the nimble BMW Z-Force for DMSV 2, that's Robin Johansson, followed by the first of the Project D Celine Mustangs, that's Gregory Chogotti. That's your top 10 for you, and I see we have rainy weather here. Andreas, your prediction for the rest of the race? Will we have even more rain during the race, or will it dry up?
I don't know, but it's Spa, and I think it's going to rain. And also I think it's going to be interesting to see if Roland Ehnström can keep winning at this track. I think he's unbeaten.
Oh, is he? Well, the qualification time was a bit out of this world. It was 2:21.5 on this new track layout, so difficult to compare to other GTR Evo times, because usually what is played is the old track layout, as in the Race Department GT Championship, which I took part in last Sunday. Oh well, only 8 seconds to go before the start, so Jose, we're on the grid already, I suppose.
No, not yet. We are taking a look to the session info, but we are going now.
Okay, which gives me time as we go on the track to tell you a little bit about the championship standings. I suppose there was an image showing you the standings before, and right now it's David Garcia in the safety car going over the grass, actually, getting in front of everybody else. And it's our usual lovely grid here at Spa-Francorchamps, and they are on their way in pouring virtual rain. So David Garcia at the front, and followed by Roland Ehnström, and they're now through La Source and out onto what is the start and finish straight in most of the GT races. Well then, the standings for you. It's Danielson Motorsports leading the pack with 309 points. That's a cool 62 points clear of the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, who I must say, well, it's not exactly their season. They've had 2 wins taken away from them due to incident decisions, due to people voting on incidents, and on the seconds that should be taken off. 2 times they won the race, and 2 times the wins were taken away, so they're down 62 points and not really a happy team at the moment. Well, Roaring Pipes Maniacs keep going, and they fielded Cristian Haba today, so they've got one of their fastest drivers up here in the virtual Ardennes. Then it's the Black Rebels, down another 32 points, down another 20 points from the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, down 32 points. Then the Danielson Motorsports Virtual 2, and then really the closest bunch are positions 5, 6, and 7. It's Flat Out Racing in 5, 4 points ahead of DHR Simcraft, who are in turn 1 point ahead of the Black Visor Motorsports. So this is really the most interesting fight on the grid as far as the teams here are concerned tonight. And then we have Blue Flag Racing in 8, 23 points clear of Black Visor, and same distance to Project D in position 9, 24 points, another 23 points to DHR Apex in 10. In 11, the new team from Italy, Course Online, but they're only 1 point behind DHR Apex, actually, 86 and 85 points. And then 18 points away, it's the Flat Out Club, and then 27 points away at 40 points so far. Not a lucky season for Amy Deggan. The field is halfway through. From what I can see, everything looks nice and clean. Let me just check all the way through. And I can see Victor Visser for the Black Rebels bringing up the rear here. And they're now, sorry I was a bit away there, and they're now in Blanchimont, turn 16 and 17 before they head into that new chicane, which is the backup or the new version here of the old bus stop. David Garcia's on his way out. Cristian Haba giving Roland Ehnström a little nudge, but now they're out on the start and finish straight. Ehnström accelerating, and they are safely off. And it's second placed, third placed DMSV racer there, Mr. Torbjörn Lindau, just pushing past Haba, and Haba has to do with position number 3 for the time being as they head into Eau Rouge. Ehnström in 1, Lindau in 2, Lindau going wide here. Can he recover? Yes, he can, but it's very close behind him. It's Haba. No, he can't recover. Haba now in 2, Haba in 2 in front of that flat-out car there. That is Kevin Clark, and Kevin Clark under attack by Rami Kaukola. And Kaukola, a little nudge there to Kevin Clark, and then Lindau down in 5. Followed by already the first of the DHR Porsches, who gained a position there on the black visor. Andreas, short commentary from you on the start. Everything looking just as smooth as it did for me?
Yeah, except for Johannes Norberg, who went a bit wide, coming a bit too fast into turn 1. So he's down to 7th, lost 2 positions.
Okay. And
we have one of the Project D cars off in one of the turns.
And Haba also going a little wide here, but recovering quickly. But now it's Kaukola with problems in the next turn, and it's also Torbjörn Lindau with problems. Kaukola can hold on to 3, with Kevin Clark right behind him. And the problem there for Lindau means that Joko Gorenc has moved up in position number 5 for the DHR Seacraft, which is great, coming from position 7 on the grid. So he already has 1-2 positions here in the first lap at Spa-Francorchamps. Going down the straight, it's, I think, the black visor driver in position 7, Johannes Norberg, who will be in most trouble as they leave that long straight there. He's going wide a little, he's recovering, and he is now passed. He's passed by 2 more cars, he's down to 9, 2 cars go past before the chicane. Norberg tries to at least gain a little, and Norberg is into the pits. Norberg is into the pits, so clearly he must be on the wrong tires. That would be my guess, Andreas. What's your guess?
Yeah, that might be the case, and I can also confirm that it was Gaëtan Legasalois who went off in one of the corners.
Okay. Yes, Andreas.
Yeah, I will keep an eye on Norberg to see how it goes in the pit.
Brilliant idea, mate. We still have Roland Ehnström in 1, and we have the first to leave the game, unfortunately. It's Reese Lautenbogen for DHR Apex, who apparently suffers from problems yet again, and also Ihab Abbas of the sole surviving Eni racer on the grid tonight. Sole guy that came here for Eni is off the grid already, and that means we're down to 22 racers at this point in the race. Roland Ehnström still in 1, and already with quite a comfortable lead to Cristian Haba, and Haba under some pressure from Rami Kaukola. Yes, David.
Yes, we have with visor and both the Project D cars on pit, I suppose changing tires as well.
Alright. Yeah, it was sunny in qualification, and now it's really coming down here in buckets. So if they went for the slicks, hoping that the rain would end pretty soon, that was definitely then a wrong decision. Haba defending here against Rami Kaukola of the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, and then there's a huge gap behind Kaukola to Kevin Clark of the Flat Out Racing. That is, the field is stretching out quite a lot already, but Ehnström is, well, he's gotten away in the first lap, but I think at this point now Haba can more or less stick to the pace, but now he's off the track a little. He is off the track, which gives Kaukola the chance to slip by on the inside. It's RPM versus RPM, and that means that Kaukola is now our new number 2, while Cristian Haba is down to position number 3. which is all very nice and well for Roland Ehnström. As long as these two here keep themselves busy, he has a chance to move away a little.
We had one of the DMSV cars spinning in Fanier, and that was Torbjörn Lindau, who's now down in 9th, and also Kevin Clark, Adam Shaw, almost spun the car out of Stavelo and is now down in 11th. So a lot of sliding going on.
Yep, it seems to be really much wetter than everybody predicted, doesn't it? But the rain forecast on the forum showed a thunderstorm sign with some sun, so it really was changeable, and everything could happen kind of weather, and this is what happened. It is indeed very, very wet here, and we can see, as you say, lots of sliding going on here. Wherever you go into the field, you can see the cars or the players actually having problems sticking to the gray stuff, but that of course doesn't go for Mr. Ehnström up in front.
Also Neil Gold is in the pit.
Probably another guy putting out the rain tires for the slicks that he went out with. Well, time, I would say, if nothing speaks against it, for the first of our rundowns, because really the grid should be quite thoroughly mixed by now, with all these guys going off for new tires apparently, or at least pitting. I think we should give people a view of what's happening on the grid so they can see where their players are. Should we start with number 1, Mr. Ehnström? And right now Kevin Clark is going wide. As I'm saying this, Clark with problems in double goes, but he's back on track now, so it really seems to be very, very wet. Well, sorry to say, should we start at number 1 and then have a rundown?
Yeah, why not, Eckhart? Let's start from P5, so we don't have to go up and then down.
Okay, it's Ehnström in 1, just as a reminder. Kaukola in 2, with a sizable gap now to Haba, who obviously is having some problems as compared to the other RPM driver. And then Joko Gorenc, we just saw that in 4. That's brilliant for him, moving up the grid here really. Kevin Clark down in 5, followed by Mikael Talok, second of the new DHR Simcraft races here. And in one of the white and orange Porsche 997s into that new chicane now. Nice STC logo, thanks to our modder, perfect work. And now down they go, heading towards La Source for the third time, ending lap number 3. Position number 7, that's the first of the Danielsson Motorsports 2 BMW Z4s, that's Robin Johansson. Then position number 8, first of the Black Rebels, up 2 places from the qualification result, that's Andreas Löffler for you in the mighty Corvette, and doing a really great slide here as he goes into Eau Rouge and then out of Eau Rouge again. And you can see how far the field is stretched here. It's each to his own devices really here at Virtual Spa. Torbjörn Lindau in position number 9. We saw him grid position number 3, then up to 2 in the first turn, but quite obviously he's had some problems with his Virtual GT40 adapting to the rainy conditions here. Christian Haba, second of the DMSV team number 2 in position number 10. Position number 11, she's the second of the flat-out racers. That's Adam Shaw for you. Going into Bruxelles now. Another one of the 180-degree turns where it is really important now to get on the throttle and then have a nice exit out of turn number 9, which is next, so that you can have a good run down to double gauche. It's downhill all the way here. Then position number 12, Carl Dubois. The only survivor, DHR Apex, only surviving DHR Apex on the grid. Followed by Massimo Martin for Team Course Online. Quick guy he is. from Italy as the whole team. Followed by Christopher Larsson for the team Blue Flag Racing. Red banner car, Larsson Jr. Followed by, in position 15, second of the Blue Flaggers, Chris Layton, who lives near Zolder, but not near Spa, but it's Belgium anyway, so home race for Chris. Good luck with the race, mate. And then it's David Clark, the first of the flat-out juniors here, in position number 16, in that really nice looking Scirocco. Position number 17, Johannes Norberg, and we know that he has been in the pit, so I suppose that all the cars we're seeing from here on have pitted already. Johannes Norberg for the Black Visors. He was, I think, in 7 or 8 after the qualification, and he's now down to 17. In 18, Rocco Migliorino, second of the Course Online Racing team. And then in 19, Gaëtan Legastellois, whom Andreas spotted off the track, and indeed his Celine Mustang is mightily banged up on the right-hand side, the co-driver's side. Fat chance for the co-driver, but if he'd been in that car, he would probably suffer at least a hurt elbow. And then position number 20 sees the second of the Black Visors, who really in really bad luck tonight, obviously, Neil Gold there. So this I told you was the closest fight on the grid team-wise, flat-out racing against DHR Simcraft against Black Visor. As it looks right now, it's DHR Simcraft who will have the upper hand in that battle there for position number 5, 6, and 7. And we have one more racer racing, that's Gregory Kogoti for the Project D, second of the Serines, going into La Source here, taking it really wide and now trying to get down the power for that massive American beast there as he heads towards Eau Rouge. And then we have Dieter Visser, last car on the grid, was the last car on the after qualification as well, so he obviously does have some problems.
No, it's a huge fight for P8 with Kevin Clark and Torbjörn Lindau.
So say, you heard the good news? I think that's where we're heading then. There's another fight just in front of them for position 6, Robin Johansson and Andreas Leffler. So whichever you choose, I shall say, just tell us.
Yes, we are trying. I'm trying to go to P8, Tekart.
Okie dokie, and let me give you the latest update on that fight with Leffler and the DMSV 2 car. That was Robin Johansson right now going into La Source. Leffler and Johansson had a bit of a touch, and so that's why Leffler now lets Johansson regain positions, gentleman racer that he is, which puts Johansson right behind Torbjörn Lindau, and Leffler down a little in 9th. So Lindau now, instead of attacking for a position there, has in fact defend his his 7th position against his, quite teammate Robin Johansson, but he stays one in front, going down Kemmel, and now heading towards Bruxelles. It's the fight is actually Johansson against Lindau, while Leffler has a bit of an off moment in the back there.
Yeah, the Corvette seems a bit of a beast in these conditions, as Rick Service clearly shows.
Yep, I think this is the same with the Celine. It's really not the perfect car for the perfect track for the perfect day today, isn't it?
Nope.
And now going wide, going spectacularly wide, but recovering handsomely. It's that flat-out racer there, Kevin Clark, but he manages to stay just in front of Torbjörn Lindau, who in turn has shaken off a little that BMW following there, Mr. Robin Johansson. But now it's here's the attack by Lindau on the flat-out racer. Here's the attack by Lindau, and he is past Kevin Clark, who should get into the slipstream now and then try for a move as they head towards the new chicane. They're into 16 now and 17, Blanchimont, and Clark is really close. He has to back off a little here to not actually go into the Ford GT. And now he is showing his nose on the inside, but he is refraining from making a move here. Lindau across the curbs, and now Clark is very close indeed as they're heading out, but Lindau has some perfect, sorry, not Lindau. Oh yes, Lindau has some perfect exit speed here. Confusing myself, sorry mate. Some perfect exit speed as he goes into that. Ooh, touch there. Seems to be really difficult braking, and poor Andreas Leffler. Lassur's last lap, Lassur's this lap. This time he has Torbjörn Lindau recovering just in front of his nose, and but Lindau stays in front of Kevin Clark, that's for sure, but he has to let Robin Johansson past. So that is a huge fight here, these four slugging it out, and it's Leffler now who is in the slipstream of Lindau and who is, of course, trying to get past. And it looks as if that Corvette is just very much faster on the straight, so Leffler can get past into Les Combes and out of Les Combes. Let's see how long he can stay in that position with the Corvette really all over the place. It's slip sliding away, Paul Simon, for Andreas Leffler here, as he tries to stay in front of Torbjörn Lindau. And Lindau, I think, wisely backs off a little here to not be caught up in one of these slides by Leffler. And however, on the straight, the Ford GT40, and that was a massive slide, Andreas. On the straight, the GT40 seems to be just very slow. Sorry, yes, Jose, or is it no, David?
We have Neil Gold at pit again for a second time.
Ooh, serious trouble there for Neil Gold of the Black Visor team. Doesn't look too good. Maybe he has a problem with the pit menu and didn't exactly get what he wanted in pits.
Yeah, possibly. Looks like it.
And now maybe Lindau can catch that slipstream, just as Kevin Clark did last lap, but nope, the Corvette easily powers away, so there's no chance for Lindau. He really has to try it in one of the turns. I don't think he can catch the the Corvette on any of the straights. Leffler now approaching the BMW of Team Danielson Motorsports 2, who is taking a perfect exit here out of the new chicane. And Leffler wisely stays behind here in La Source. We don't want any more trouble in that turn. But they're heading into Eau Rouge, and let's see what condition they're in once they're heading out of Eau Rouge.
I'm keeping an eye on the leaders as well, and Rami is only 1 to 2 seconds behind Roland, so it's quite close up there.
That is amazing indeed. Especially considering what you said earlier, that Roland has apparently so far not lost a game here at Spa, so that is really amazing for Rami to stay up there.
Yep, and also the two DHR Simcraft cars are going tail to tail.
Well, I guess we're still with that fight here for position 6 and 7. Leffler running, trying not to hit. Johansson in 6 trying to avoid a hit. He was really close going into Bruxelles, and then he nearly lost it there, and that brings Lindau into an interesting position again. But Leffler is really fighting here all the way. Look at that Corvette doing some crazy moves here, left and right and right and left, especially out of the turns. He seems to have some supreme trouble getting the force down, coming to grips here with the exit of the turns. So people seem to have settled in here for 6, 7, 8 and 9 chassis, so we give the race leader and position number 2 some airtime.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, brilliant.
But I see now Mikael Salop is approaching Lightweiser Motorsports car. Can you confirm it's a lap car or?
It is indeed a lap car. Yep. It is. So it's the two DSR Simcraft racers side by side, and they're both about to lap that Lightweiser there. While Cristian Haba is almost all of Camel away from Rami Kaukola in position number 2, and Kaukola is really hot on the heels of Roland Ehnström here. So maybe that series will hold, but it will at least be a very hard fight for Roland here. Rami Kaukola for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, doing everything he can to not lose contact to Roland Ehnström. In fact, he's closer now than he was in the first 1 or 2 laps, so seems that he just had to find his rhythm.
A little bit of a mistake there by Roland out of turn 9.
Yep, something that we hardly ever see from him, so that really goes to show how difficult these conditions are.
Guys, Kevin Clark beating out. I guess changing tires as well.
Thank you very much for that. And Kaukola now very close indeed, and we know how slow the GT40 is on the straight, so he might make a move now in Blanchimont if he can get off those curves and have a clean exit. Stay up the curves, Rami, stay off, brilliantly done. And now into the slipstream. Here he goes, into the slipstream. Yep. You should wait for the approach to the new chicane. Should be pretty easy there, but Roland brakes a little, and Kaukola has to brake too. Rami has to brake too. And that puts the distance back in between them, and Roland Ehnström survived. Another lap in front of Rami Kaukola.
Yeah, he caught him a bit too fast there, I think, as Roland flanked out the chicane. He got a bit too close in the middle of Blanchimont and had to back off a little and lost the little edge he had on him.
Yeah, too bad. But there's really, in these conditions especially, only one line through Blanchimont. It looks so, when you're out there, it looks on the virtual track, it looks so wide. But actually, if you want to hit these two minor apexes that there are, if you really want to hit them the perfect way, there is only one line, isn't there?
Yep.
Now out onto Camel, the two of them. And Kaukola is taking a completely different line to Roland Ehnström. I think he just wants to get out of the spray for a few seconds and check the distance to the front runner here. Into Les Combes, out of them again, and now down into Bruxelles, and Kaukola again getting very, very close indeed. And Andreas, please confirm, do you see that also, that Kaukola's lines are much smoother than Roland's? So Roland really seems to have more trouble keeping the car solidly on the track.
Yep, and one of the TBR corrects on the outside there. I think it's Visser. Yeah, I don't know if it has anything to do with driving style, but at the moment the marker seems a bit better.
Yep. It's I had this guy I was racing with in live for his speed, LFS, and his big motto was always clean lines, fast times, and I can only confirm that. It really is the secret to a really fast lap, especially in GT racing, clean lines, isn't it?
Yeah. And and Kaukola not really in the slipstream this time around.
Nope. But he's staying close. There's, at this point at least, no way Ehnström can get away from him. So look at the distance to Haba. He is, and he just lost it in Blanchimont a little. So Haba dropping off second by second by second, while these two keep the pace almost completely at par here for position number 1. And I don't know, maybe the mighty Roland does in fact make a mistake today and go off somewhere, but on the other hand, Rami is a very sensible player, isn't he? And I think he's got a lot of time just waiting for his chance.
Yeah, there's kind of like an hour to go, so a lot can happen.
Yep. On the other hand, let's not forget the Nielsen Motorsports, they're wizards in the pits, aren't they? We have often seen this, that after the pits they all of a sudden have something like 10 seconds or 12 seconds more on their hands. So let's see what happens about the pits today. So say, if we want to pick a fight further down the grid, let's go to position 9 and 10. It's Christian Waldgaard of the Danielson Motorsports Team 2 trying to defend against Adam Shaw of the Flat Out Racing.
Adam Shaw who had a huge slide out of Stavelo earlier on and nudged the wall a little bit with his front right.
Ah, okay.
You can see the bend.
Yep. Could be a problem with some of the turns. Shouldn't really be a problem if I know the GTR Evo engine correctly. Shouldn't really be a problem on the straights, which I think is a bit disappointing. I think if there's damage to the front of the car, it should really, you should have to pay dearly on the straights, shouldn't you?
Yep. And in the corners as well.
Yeah, the corners work. I mean, I've never been in a real race car, but at least to my understanding of it, the corners seem to be quite exactly simulated, so that you really lose time if you have one of these bigger dents in the turns. Really have difficulty keeping your lines. But the straights, if some of your front work is off, you really it should be more of a problem on the straights. But that's only my personal view, of course.
I agree with Eckhart. I mean, a GT car depends a lot of that part of the car in the straights, and more of the back wing for the corners.
Yep.
Not a single seater. So it's very important for the aero, for the straight, to don't lose many time, because there is a wall breaking the car, you know.
Yep, exactly. If the front splitter is off just a little, one should already be able to feel it actually in the car. And to my mind, that is not that well simulated. But then again, I've never had the slightest experience in anything like a race car. All I'm doing is driving my real life normal station wagon from here to work and back. And so, honestly, I could be totally mistaken.
You should try it, Eckhart, on your normal car. Take the front splitter off and go working with it.
Yeah, I should. I think I have about 4 centimeters of plastic somewhere there that comes as the car goes off the assembly line. But I'm not the type to put anything on my car. I can change the headlights. That's about it. Okay, not much going on with that fight here for 9 and 10. We're talking about my real life car. Just goes to show. and he was looking for a bit of a fight further down the grid, and yes, there we are. It's position 17 and 18. Gaëtan Legastellois for the Project D, and he has recovered quite some positions after his bit of trouble earlier on, and he is just in front of David Clark for the Flat Out Club. They're both into Eau Rouge now, and Clark on the way out as I'm speaking, and they are really close together, but if I'm unlucky again, it's just that Gaëtan passed David Clark here, and again, we won't be in for a good fight, but rather see the outcome of the fight that happened a bit earlier.
Talking about people coming through the field, Johannes Norberg is up in 11th after his early pit stop.
Yep. That I just saw him as I went through the field. That is amazing, isn't it? And it's surprising. I wouldn't have put the Ultima as one of the cars that should do fine here at Spa. Not at all.
Yep.
And the Legastellois here, powering the mighty Saleen Mustang through these turns in the rain. The rain, at least on my screen, has subsided a little, or am I wrong?
You might be right.
Still there, but it looked a bit stronger in the beginning of the race, so we might even see a dry second half of the race, which would be interesting to see what the players will do then in the pits. By the way, pitting, do you think it's a two-stop strategy or a one-stop strategy tonight, Andreas?
It looks to be a one-stop strategy for the guys up front, at least. We might see some gamble in the middle or in the rear end of the field. And while I'm talking, I can say that Rami just had a huge slide in Lecombe, or out of Lecombe, and he grabbed a little bit and lost maybe 2 seconds or something like that.
Ooh. I was waiting for Roland to do that.
Yeah, but I think Rami will catch him again.
Thanks for saying. Heading there, in 11 we have Johannes Norberg in one of the Black Visor Ultimas, and as Andreas just said, he's on the way up the grid after an early pit, and he's now following Adam Shaw, who in turn is following Christian Waldgaard. So it's really a fight for 9, 10 and 11 here as the players go out of Bruxelles into turn 9 and now down that hill to Double Gauche. It's one of the things that I really love about Spa is this uphill, downhill. Don't know why. Why is it so nice to go uphill, downhill on a racetrack, Andreas? Any idea?
Diversity, I think. I mean, the more the merrier.
Yes, indeed. The turns are not, I mean, they're all, you know, there's lots of room for mistake in any of the turns, obviously. But there are more fascinating turns in other tracks. It's really this combination of uphill, downhill, the woods all around, and it's a very long track, isn't it?
Yeah, look for example at Nordschleife. I don't know anybody who dislikes it, and it has a lot of ups and downs and all sorts of turns.
Yep. And I really think there's something to be said for these long tracks where you don't go so often past the same spot. I mean, we had Trois-Rivières, which is about 1 minute, and so that means in the 90-minute race you actually passed that arch 90 times. And I'm not saying that players get bored, it's just that I thought somehow different, isn't it, if you go past a certain point 45 times in a game or 90 times.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So, 90 times or 45 times aside, Adam Shaw can see Mr. Johannes Norberg slowly catching up on him, putting the pressure on him here, stalking him, as they say. And Where do you think is a good place for the Blackfire Motorsports racer to make his move?
He's really close now, Eckhart.
Yep.
That was close.
And Shaw here in 10 defending mightily against Norberg. We're now approaching double gauche. Adam Shaw with a bit of understeer going into the turn here, and this might be the chance for Norberg. There he is on the inside, but we have a right-hander following, so Shaw's on the correct side now, but Norberg manages to squeeze past. That was an excellent maneuver here by Johannes Norberg. Shaw making just a little mistake going into the first of the two left-handers there, and Norberg then put his car on the inside, side by side with Shaw, and he's got some extra speed now, so he might just get into the slipstream of that Danielson Motorsports 2 car, who is none other than Christian Haba, and then he might even make the second move within a couple of seconds, but right now it's the flat-out racer, it's Adam Shaw, who's back again.
Guys,
here we go, through Blanchimont. Yes, please, David.
Yes, I don't know if you noticed, but it is not raining anymore. I see a blue sky.
Aha!
Where Rami and Roland are at least. All the grid is in wet tires, I suppose, so it can mean the apex of the race.
It can also mean that we have the first guy pitting in the middle of the race. Christian Haba, just as we were speaking, he was into the pit. So it looks that the spies there for Danielson Motorsports have done a perfect job again and called in the first of their players because he was under pressure anyway. And so he decided to call him in, and he's losing positions now, of course, but it might be a very good decision to go in early. But the track is still wet, David. I can still see lots of spray in most of the parts of the track, so should be still okay with wet tires.
I will check the lap times to be sure of what I answer you, Eckhart.
Yep, good idea.
Talking about tires and such, Andreas Leffer had an off in Lecombe, so he shortcutted the whole corner. So I don't know if it's a good idea to put on slicks yet.
Yes, and what I see, Rami and Roland made their respective fastest lap in the last 2 laps, so they are still fast with the tires.
Yeah, still wet out there, but it might be dry in about 2 or 3 laps. So,
okay.
How much time? How much time have we spent? Roland on pit, right? So let's see what Rami does.
Halfway through the race.
Yeah, he's still on track.
Stays on track, and in this way he's in position number 1. It's going to be so interesting to see him pit and then watch the exit of that pit if he can stay in front of Roland Ehnström. Well, he knows what's up, so he's in for a really interesting lap now. And Jose, are we following Rami in position number 1?
Yes, we are making a round up to there. As you know, we cannot jump from directly. So
yep. And Rami is collecting wet.
So right.
Yep, Rami is collecting wet patches on the track. We saw him make a huge, or I saw him on my screen making a huge kind of swerve on Camel and going right to where the track still looked pretty wet. So obviously he's looking for the wet for his wet tires to really put in a blistering lap here, so that he has a chance of getting ahead of Roland Ehnström, of staying ahead of Ehnström as he leaves the pits. I suppose he will pit in this lap, won't he, David and Andreas?
Guys,
I suppose so.
There's Loeffler, Johannes Norberg and Robin Johansson at pit. 7, 8 and 9.
Yep, I don't have access to the race watch. How much time of the race has passed already?
It's half the race, Eckhart. It's 45 minutes. 45 minutes.
So it's the perfect time to pit anyway. Thanks, weather at Spa. I just saw that one of the blue flag racers was off there and without a splitter. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's Chris Layton, but I'm not quite sure. I didn't check the color, but I think it's Chris. So he has a long way to go to the pits. That will lose him possibly a whole lap there, and he seems to have some mighty trouble there. Was difficult just keeping the car on track. But Kaukola now into Blanchimont and approaching that chicane, and we might see him turn into the pits as he is halfway through the chicane. It's a bit of a funny pit entrance here. Nope, he stays out. That I think is quite surprising.
There is a gap, Eckhart, of 19 seconds between them right now. Sorry, between Rami and Cristian Haba.
Alright. What's the gap to Roland?
The gap to Roland, it's 46 seconds. Maybe it's enough to fit and
46.
Go ahead.
Should be very, very, very close indeed, but let's not forget we have a shorter pit entrance here. Haba pitting in, okay. So Kaukola alone of the three guys in front stays out here. On wets, obviously, and out on Camel now, and I couldn't see any problems on his last lap. What was that lap time, David, for his last lap? Was it a fast lap?
For Roland, it was. Let me check it. No, it wasn't. In fact, it was really slow. Looks like he had a problem. It was over 3 minutes. Fastest lap is 2 minutes and 31. So. Looks like he had problems. Yeah, and talking of problems, Rami had some problems here in Les Combes. He was almost losing it and then just managed to catch it. And so that might have cost him a second or two. But right now he has recovered his rhythm and he's down into double gauche and then after that Fagnes.
Rami just did the fastest lap in the race as well, 2:28.762.
It might pay off, it might pay off. It might just work out, mightn't it?
Anyway, Eckhart, let me tell you that what I think the 3 minutes lap from Roland was not a bad lap. I mean, it looks like it was his pit lap.
Alright, yeah, that would explain it, wouldn't it?
I was in a mistake because laps are very longer than in usual circuit.
Yep, so we should wait for the next lap time to confirm how fast he really is on what I suppose should be slicks now.
Exactly. By the way, Chris Layton already went on pit out with the repaired damage on his car.
Good to hear. Thank you very much. News from Team Blue Flag Racing, and in goes Kaukola. So now it's the big question. 46 seconds was the last gap that I heard of to Roland Ehnström, and let's see how much of the gap he can keep after pitting out again. Let's see how clean his pit entrance is.
The problem is that Roland is fighting for a position right now.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's Michael Tallock in front of him.
Yes, and why should he give way? No, absolutely, totally okay to fight for position there.
He will lose a couple of seconds. Now Michael Tallock is on pit. Roland has
Roland is down.
Freeway.
And Rami is still in the pits, and I can hear Roland's car going into La Source, and he's easily passed. And they've pulled it off again, Danielson Motorsports. We've seen that again and again. Roland Ehnström gained not only a little bit, but a lot in the pits. Let's count that down. 1, 3, 8.
Let me tell you.
7 seconds. 7 seconds between Roland Ehnström and Rami Kaukola. So I think Rami lost about 5 seconds in the pits, didn't he?
And apart of that, Roland made the fastest lap of the race in his last lap. It was a 2:27.
Oh dear. So yes, that means the track should be dry now.
Yeah, completely dry. This lap is 1 second faster than Rami's lap. That was supposed to be the fastest lap of the race until now. It was a very, very good lap with intermediate or wet tires in dry conditions, but not as good as with dry tires.
We have a big fight for P5 between Joko Gorenk and Robin Johansson.
As we do have indeed, it's a much better race tonight for DHR Syncraft. Haven't seen them so successful on the track for a long time here in the STC. Both cars still running, both players still in the game, and they're fighting for positions. It's position number 6 for Joko Gorenk, and position number 4, I think, for Mikael Tolok. And they're like what usually is the Project D tactics. They're right close together all through the race. It's Tolok who's just a little bit faster, and he is in 4 now, and Joko Gorenk in 5, and sandwiched between the two, it's Robin Johansson of the Nelson Motorsports Team 2. And Gorenk with a slide there. Sorry, not Gorenk, but Tolok with a slide, and a massive slide indeed. So that means that it's a clear way now for Robin Johansson. And Johansson on the grass, and thank goodness what's going on here. I think players have problems realigning their driving style, don't they? It's all of a sudden it seems to be dry tires on it. No, it's still, track is still wet in some places, isn't it?
Yeah, and Torbjörn Lindau, he had to get out of the way for Tolok who spun, and he went off the level, so...
He did.
A lot of people visiting the grass.
A bit of rear damage on Lindau's car.
Oh dear. So now in position number 4 already, Joko Gorenk just slightly away, and another spin in the back there by Chris Layton. Chris Layton spins going out of the chicane, which is the worst place really to spin, because you've just passed the pit entrance and there's no way to go back if you follow the rules.
And one question, guys, you think the right tire to choose in this pit stop was the slick or was the intermediate one? Because the track is quite wet still, and it was more before when they pit.
I don't know. I would have chosen the slick, because I'm not really sure about those intermediates. It's really either it's too wet for them or it's too dry for them. So there's very little situations where I would go for the intermediate, really.
Yeah, I'll go for slicks as well.
However, me on slicks with that much spray behind my car, I would be completely lost, to be quite honest.
One driver who is benefiting from all the spins and crashes and everything is Johannes Norberg, who is up in 7th, so the race is really coming back to him.
It certainly is. And Torbjörn Lindau, obviously, this is not his race, isn't it? He's down in 8, and he's had a hard first 2 or 3 laps after moving up to position number 2 right after the start. And but now he really can't get back to the positions that he was in the qualification and also in the practice, can't he?
No, he's really having a tough race here, and we have to look in the mirrors pretty soon, I guess. So Cristian Haba is starting to close in.
And Leffler is off. Big off moment for Andreas Löffler in position number 10. He banged into the wall and he could just recover. Sorry for breaking in there. David, what were you about to say?
Yes, I'm checking the lap times of the top 8, top 9 cars, and Roland is doing very, very fast laps compared to the rest. He is the only one making 2:27. His last lap was at 2:27.3, very low, and the cars following him, the fastest, are on 28 lows, so a second slower than Roland. And Johannes Norberg is the fastest car on the top 7. I mean, the group following Roland. He's much faster than the guys in front of him, so I expect Johannes to overtake, or at least catch Mikael Talog, Joko Gorenk, and this group.
Well, let's see what happens. At any rate, he's following one of the DHR Simcraft races at the moment. And which one is that, Andreas?
That's Talog.
Thank you very much indeed.
As an example, the difference with Talog. Talog's fastest lap is 2:30, when Johannes Norberg is in a 2:28.0 and a 2:28.3 last 2 laps.
Yeah, and Talog just went up in reverse, so he lost the position to Norberg. So easy fast there for Norberg.
The question, Andreas, is that Joko Gorenk, that is as well ahead of Johannes, have as a fastest lap 2:32. So he was even slower than Mikael Talog. So I'm sure Johannes will catch them very soon. Maybe the Porsche or maybe the DHR drivers were faster on the wet conditions.
Yes, and here comes another one of our famous rundowns, this time by Andreas Hultgreen, the man himself, starting at P9. Andreas, tell me, who's in 9?
Torbjörn Lindau is in 9th, and he has been passed by Cristian Haba, and I think he is actually dropping off the pace of him as well. They just lapped, I think, Chris Leeton, and in running up top 10 at the moment is Andreas Löffler, with a bit of a bashed up Corvette. At the front and at the side and at the rear as well, so a lot of banging going on as he enters the pits as well. And
banging the car on the way into the pits, Andreas. Should we do that?
Yeah. Yeah, and this won't be any good for his race, and the TBR drivers having a bit of bad luck this time around. So Carl Dubois now in 10th. For the HR Apex, Adam Shaw behind him, the only remaining flat-out driver, and
which is too bad.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened to Kevin Clark.
And then we have the first of the course online. In position should be 15, shouldn't it?
13th.
Sorry guys, Andreas Löffler went on pit for a second time. He pits out in position 12.
Okay then, so back in 12th. And Massimo Martin 13th, and Gaetan Legasalois in 14th for Project D. And he has his teammates behind him. Gregory Shogoti. Who goes off track?
Just as we're speaking, so driving conditions seem to be really awful here. I mean, if somebody like Gregory Kugoti goes off track and loses the splitter to boot, look at that car. It's all banged up in the front. Yep. And that means condition must be really bad.
Yeah, a lot of cars going off. Chris Leeton then up to 15 with a huge dent to his front splitter. He's closely followed by a
which doesn't mean so much. It doesn't mean so much because our BMW, it tends to get easily dented in the front, and you hardly feel it when you actually play.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's the closest fight on the grid here, isn't it? That racer behind him is one of the Siroccos, isn't it?
Yeah, that's David Clark in the flat out Sirocco.
Okay, so Chris fighting. Yes, David?
Yes, we have Witz Weiser at pit again. Both TVL cars had to visit the pit twice.
Neil Gold just spun now.
Maybe they are changing back to
intermediate.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Just goes to show, Andreas, they haven't listened to our perfect commentary, haven't they?
No.
And how should they? Anyway, I've seen that Monsieur Kugoti stayed out, and he's doing another lap with that banged up car.
Yeah, and it's stuttering all over the place. I'm a bit surprised in the pit.
So am I. And we have another course racer just behind him, don't we?
Yeah, Rocco Migliorino in 18th in the Musler, now through Rouge. And Neil Gold behind him, and then we have Biffy running up the field.
So 20 players still on the track, which with about 2/3 of the race through under these really difficult conditions, I think pays tribute really to the players here and how much they are in control of what they're doing. It's quite great, isn't it? I think we haven't seen one car dropping out due to a driving problem or a playing problem here. It's been more technical problems again, hasn't it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you there.
Oh, never mind. I was just saying that it looks as if, we still have 20 cars on the grid. We've had 4 cars so far had to retire, but it looks as if it's not the adverse weather conditions and the difficult track here that sends players off, but it's technical problems responsible for all the cars that we had to drop here. So really, these guys, they must be sweating like hell by now, mustn't they? I mean, it's still wet out there on virtual Spa, and the track is still difficult to do, and there's the question of the tires all the time.
Yes, Eckhart, but I have info from pit wall, and somebody says that the two Syncraft cars are on wet tires because they were expecting rain after their pit stop, and in fact it didn't rain, so they are in wet tires now, trying to do what the best they can.
Yeah, now I see the P car. Sorry, Andre.
Johannes Norberg. It shows that they are on wet tires because Johannes Norberg, who is on apparently dry tires, is right behind Joko Gorenka at the moment, and he passed him for and Gorenka slides off in Pahun and hits the wall.
He certainly does. So that means if you're out here on wet, and if you feel the pressure, you're liable to go off. So really wet means there's virtually no space to the left and to the right. It's either the line that you catch or you're off.
Yeah, maybe that's what CBR did. Put on wet tires again.
The problem with the wet tires is that they are already around 15 minutes, more or less, not that much. on wet tires in dry conditions, more or less. And these tires gets wasted and are gone very early if you are not in the proper conditions. So I am sure they will have to fit in again and get new tires soon to be able to race.
And once again, it seems that Danielson Motorsports is the team that has the best strategy here, followed second only by the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, because they have it all together, haven't they? We see Danielson Motorsports racer in the front of the race, then we see two Roaring Pipes Maniacs, and then in four it's another Danielson Motorsports. It's Team 2, but they of course share the same TS, and they of course share the same strategy and the same decisions. And so that really sets this team apart, doesn't it? That in conditions like this, they always have the right answer, don't they?
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with why they are the two teams on top of the standings as well.
Yep, but they're not really on top of the standings, but they're in 1 and 4, Andreas. So we have the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, never mind, in 2, and the Black Rebels in 3. However, looking at what's going on today here, it looks as if maybe the Motorsports Virtual 2, that's the green and black BMWs, they might just slip past the Team Black Rebels, but then again, who knows?
Yeah, I meant the DMSV one.
I'm sorry.
It was a bit confusing there.
And
Okay, we have Andreas Loeffler without his front splitter. He's pitting in again.
Oh, it's a bad day for the Black Rebels. But it's a great day for the Black Visors after some problems right at the start. Here we have Johannes Norberg, and he's back up in 5, and he is quickly approaching that player in position number 4 for the Danielson Motorsports 2. And who is none other than, is it Voltgaard there?
Robin Johansson, Neckart.
I'm sorry for that. It's sorry guys, I have a bit of a problem here with my graphics display. And that was spin there in the chicane. Somebody getting a little carried away. Yep, Norbert getting a little carried away. He was really making up time on that BMW, but now he's lost, I would say, 2 to 3 seconds in that spin. But nevertheless, we can see Loeffler pitting out there. Nevertheless, Norberg seems to be the guy here on the grid who is setting the pace, and this is then, of course, excluding Roland Ehnström. David, you have access to the lap times. How about the RPM guys? What are their lap times like?
Yes, Cristian Haba made his fastest laps a couple of laps ago with a 2:27.5, while Rami have done a very good lap with a 2:26.5, a second faster.
That's amazing.
But it's more amazing what Roland did last lap. It's 2:26.3, even faster.
Okay, and our Black Visor friend, where does he clock in?
Well, Robin with the seat 4 ahead of him is in 2:29, and Johannes Norberg is in 2:27. 2:28, more or less.
Okay, so that means he should be able to catch him in about 1 or 2 laps, shouldn't he? And that would put him in position number 4, if I'm not mistaken, which, he was really down the grid, wasn't he, in lap number 1 or 2? I don't know how far down he got, but maybe position number 18 or so. That is quite some feat, and now he's catching up, and now he's actually passing him already.
Is it a puncture or something?
It looks like it. He's losing speed drastically.
I think he got out of shape.
Yep. It might be what David pointed out, that if he's on wet, these wets might be shot by now.
Yes, but I
up to speed again.
I mean, I think he is on full wet tire second because his pace is better than the two DHR cars, much better. Maybe he is an intermediate.
Yeah, maybe, but obviously this Danielsa Motorsports Team 2 player has some serious problems here in every single turn. It's slide, going in and going out again. And look at how easily the Black Visors Ultima is pulling away here. Already, I mean, he's just passed him about half a lap ago, and already they have something like 200, 300 meters between them. And that's a mightily banged up Saleen Mustang there for the Project D. They do have a troublesome race too, don't they?
And in P8, Lindau is catching up Talok. Talok is in wet tires and Lindau I think is in dry. But Talok is doing quite good, trying to resist.
Yes, Talok last lap was 2:31. He is on very different times each lap due to wet tires. He made a 37, 31 in the last, while Torbjörn Lindau it's in 29, 31 as well. I am not that sure that Torbjörn Lindau it's on dry. I mean, there is not a big difference in the lap times between them.
Well, race control tells me about a quarter of an hour left, bit more. And we see Roland Ehnström here at Virtual Spa safely in position number 1. And I don't know if you could see that on your screen. I just saw
went into the wall.
Yeah, spinning here in Campus and going off, which puts Torbjörn Lindau in position number 7, if I'm not mistaken. And it also gives one more place to the DMS Team 2, because also their second driver slipped past as Talok was just recovering the track. So, bit of luck there for the team Danielsa Motorsports Virtual. They got 2 cars past the one spinning DHR Simcraft racer.
I got some more news about Johannes Norberg. He went to lap, I think it might have been Neil Gold, his teammate, and he spun the car, and Robin Johansson is now back in 4th.
Oh.
So he has to do it all over again.
That is too bad. I mean, with the speed he has, he should be able to do it in the remaining 15 minutes, but it's just annoying. Let's call it annoying.
Yeah, it's like 3, maybe 4 seconds between those two now.
And we're moving down the grid to positions number 17, 18, and 19. In 17, we see Neil Gold, the second of the Black Visor Motorsports. And he has recovered a little. He was way down the grid earlier on, and he moved back up just a little. And in 18, we have one of the course online racers, and still I can't read the names here on my screen, but I suppose it's Massimo, isn't it? Or no, it's probably Rocco Migliorino. And then behind him, it's one of the Project D Saleen Mustangs. And again, I can't read the name, but just guessing here should be Gaëtan Ligastellois. But I'm not quite sure about that.
I have news about Norberg and Johansson again, and just like that, Johansson got caught by Norberg. A bit quicker than I expected.
Yep, and just as you're speaking, it's the Project D racer going past the course online in Eau Rouge of all places, but a very clean move there. Apparently the course guy realized that Saleen was a bit too fast for him, and he really neatly got out of the way. And at the same time, Neil Gold went up, so it still seems to be extremely difficult to keep your car on track here at Spa. Very experienced players having just trouble keeping on the race stuff. And that gives another position to Project D, and that means in position 17 now, it's, I think, Gaëtan Ligastellois. Andreas, maybe you can set me right. Which of the Project D guys is that there in 17?
That is Chogoti, and Norberg went wide in Lacombe just after he passed Johansson, but he's passed now again, so a lot of stuff going on about people.
Back and forth, okay. David, speak your mind.
Yes, we have Chris Layton at pit 10. He changed tires, I am quite sure.
Okay, Chris, keep on fighting for the blue flags. It's only another 10 minutes or so to go here at wet and virtual Spa. And if Jose kept his camera on the back markers, then we have a big fight here with 18 and 19. Neil Gold fighting off the attacks of one of the course online musclers here as they both go through Blanchimont and approaching the chicane. And look at Gold's car from the rear. It's all banged up. He must have had a really serious bump there earlier on.
Maybe we should go back to P4 and 5 because Johansson is keeping up with Norberg at the moment.
Yep, let's leave the back of the grid then and move to 4 and 5. Thank you, Andreas.
You're welcome.
Guys, Johannes Norberg lost his position with Robin Johansson again. He made a mistake at the end of the straight in Les Squares.
Yeah, just to keep our viewers updated in that battle for 4 and 5, Norberg again lost it at the end of Camel going into Les Combres. He had a huge moment spinning the car almost a full pirouette there, but he's recovered again as he's hunting down Johansson again. I think this is now for the third or fourth time, isn't it, Andreas? And so, Jose, trusted cameraman, he lost count, we're so high. We should go back to 3 and 4 because he's just so much faster, but every time he's passed, there is this mistake that he does. And he's passed now again, out into, or approaching Blanchimont now. He's gotten past again, Johannes Norberg. So it's an extremely enjoyable race for these two. And on the straight now, in the slipstream, the BMW can follow the Black Visor Ultima very closely, but in the second of the Blanchiment he loses him. So he can't pull something off as they approach the brake zone in front of the chicane.
No, he's pushing a bit too hard. I mean, it's... what is it? 45 seconds up to Haba, and it's impossible to take that in 10 minutes. So he should just focus on staying in front.
Yeah, but then again, if you're a racer and if it's in your blood, there's only one way to go, and that is as fast as possible, isn't it?
Yes, but still 45 seconds.
I know.
But he's pulling away a little.
He is indeed going out of Eau Rouge, but I don't think this battle is over yet. With the antics that we have followed while we were showing that other fight there, which was equally interesting, of course, for 18 and 19, but Andreas, you kept us on top of this battle as well, and I suppose we shall see at least one more little problem here for either one of them.
Yeah, he managed to get Lecombe right this time around.
So with only, 6 to 5 minutes left, should we have a first, summary of the race for the viewers, of our impressions here of what was going on for the STC at Spa?
Yeah, you start.
Okay then, from Danielson Motorsports' position, it's been another successful night. They have Roland Ehnström in position number 1. They played their usual perfect pit game, which meant that going into the pits, it was a really close race between Kaukola for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs and Ehnström in 1 and 2. Kaukola at times looked at it as if he might just squeeze past in 1 or 2 places. But then coming out of the pits, Ehnström was ahead, I think, by a margin of about 7 seconds. Talking about pits, whether to pit or not and which tire to choose, obviously, Andreas, was the big question tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And DHR seems to have chosen the wrong tires. Probably TBR as well. But not Johannes Norberg.
Definitely not. He's one of the big stories of the race. Another big story is that the Roaring Pipes Maniacs guys. Sorry guys, I don't think we really gave you quite the credit you deserve, because they're still in 2 and 3, which is basically where they started, and so they're going to pull off a superb team result here point-wise. They're actually going to come out of this with more points than the Danielson Motorsports, however, with a gap of 62, Danielson can take it a bit relaxed. We have Torbjörn Lindau, the second Danielson Motorsports car, I suppose in 6 or 7 at this point, so that's worth a lot of points too. Yeah, Roaring Pipes Maniacs, great race for them. We talked about DHI Sinclair, but at least they have both cars still on the track. They have helped to have fresh players with slightly different internet connections. Don't know, that might just have been the deciding factor here. We've seen many of the DHR players in trouble before, but these two have, apart from maybe having chosen the wrong tires, have had a really safe and a good splendid racing. We saw some great racing with them. And then we have the Black Rebels. You seem to have had a really bad day tonight, haven't you, Andreas?
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, let me talk about it then. We have Andreas Leffer all over the place. He had some fast laps indeed, but then again he crashed somewhere, lost the splitter, had to pit, and Victor Visser never really got into the swing of things. He had huge problems from lap number 1. He had problems in qualifying, so he's just out there trying to collect as many points as possible. This is my usual strategy. I know how you feel, mate. Then we had Project D, and they have problems as well with their drive. seems that the Celine and the Corvette, these huge American cars, are not really suited for rain and fog. Anyway, they still have both their races on the track, and then we have the Black Bikers. They have one superb race by Johannes Norberg, while Neil Gold have to fight more in the back of the grid, so they have one guy up in front, one in the back. Then Standard Racing, they lost the guy. They still have one player positioned quite high on the grid. That's, I think, Adam Shaw, somewhere in position 5, 6, 7. 11, sorry about that. He must have dropped last time I saw him. He was way much better up the grid. And it seems like DSR Apex, who lost a player pretty early on, Luis Rotenbohm. Don't know what happened to him. And the second of the flat-out teams, the flat-out club, the two Siroccos, I think we also lost one player. And then Blue Flag Racing, we lost Christopher Larsson as well. And I suppose that his dad, Christopher Larsson, is trying to send me messages, but I'm sorry, Christopher, I can't read them on my screen. I can only see your face popping up and then a gray, totally gray area next to it. So it may be that you have wanted to tell me what happened to Larsson Jr., but I'm afraid I can't get that message at this point. Well then, how many more minutes to go before the end of this race?
3 minutes 48 seconds.
That means 2 more laps for race leader Roland Ehnström, and that series we talked about, never lost a single virtual match at Spa, seems to hold.
Yeah, and I wonder when that will break, if it will break.
Yeah, I might go out and have a shot one of these days, but it's definitely gonna hold. It's definitely gonna be rock solid if he plays against me.
Yeah, we can do a joint effort.
Yeah, we can, but I think the only effort we can do is in the run-up to T1. That's about the last time we'll be right close to him, won't it?
Yeah, and when he laps.
Yes, but we're gentlemen racers, we won't do anything when he lets us. No, we'll be very nice.
Yes, of course.
So, race direction, put me into the picture. With the race almost finished, when do we have our next race at Virtual Le Mans? Is that next week or the week after?
It's next week. It's next week, Eckhart, finally.
Next week.
Yes.
So that's the final decision.
Yes, the teams, more teams voted for that option, so it was pretty clear.
Do I see it correctly that my cameraman will actually be on site in Le Mans proper, in real life, and take some huge photos there?
Yes, but that is on weekend, and I will be still here on Thursday to broadcast the virtual Le Mans race.
Okay. So you have plenty of Le Mans that week, virtual first and real life second.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your bet for this year's Le Mans race? Will Peugeot pull off another victory?
Well, I hope so, because Jene is driving, so I would like to see him win again. I hope so. But Audi is always strong, you know, they are like the Le Mans kings. So.
Yes, and they have a superb lineup again this year. And also, I must admit, the new version of their racer looks just absolutely awesome.
Yes, it does. But talking about endurance and talking about Le Mans, in 2 days, this Saturday, we have the race department Le Mans series, the 12 hours of Le Mans. Broadcasted.
And it will be my mate Simon Smith doing the commentary again, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. He will try to beat his own record of. He has the 8 hours of continuous commentating in sim racing. That's a record.
He
is going for 12 now.
So let's keep all our fingers crossed for Simon Smith there. 12 hours. And also here at Spa in real life we have a 12 hours race. It's I don't know exactly which championship. I think it's the Belgian Touring Car Championship, but somebody may correct me. But there's a 12-hour race going on at real life Spa. So if you're in for some long distance racing, you might want to go there. It's going to be huge. Okay, we're talking away here, and but one more piece of information for our fans glued to the PSR TV screen. So it's Le Mans next week, and then we have a 2-week gap, and then we do the one race that was that had to be cancelled, and that was somewhere in America, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Daytona.
Okay,
Daytona
guys.
there. Yes, please.
We have the last corners for Roland.
Okay, Roland.
Reaching the chicane.
We'll give you all the credit you deserve. It's another great race for Danielsson Motorsports. Well, we're talking here about real-life racing and about Daytona. And here he goes, into the last chicane. A superb, flawless race by Roland Ehnström. Another one, we must say. And he fends off both of the Roaring Pipes Maniacs racers. He goes across the line, he's flashing the lights. It's another victory for Danielsson Motorsports. Well done, Roland Ehnström. Let's switch to position number 2. And there he is, right close actually. And I suppose it is Rami Kaukola. Position number 3, the second of the Roaring Pipes Maniacs racers, is a bit down. And Andreas, if I'm talking complete nonsense now, this is Dragos Haba, isn't he?
Cristian Haba.
It was Cristian! When I am talking complete nonsense, it's the first appearance of Cristian. I never noticed. It's Cristian Haba, the first race this season for him. We've seen Dragos here on the track, but this is Cristian Haba. And well done, Cristian Haba, position number 3. And then position number 4 for Danielsson Motorsports Team 2.
What happened to Johannes Norberg?
He went out of wheel, Andreas, in lap 34.
Oh! That is just too sad. Climbing up almost the whole grid, up to position number 4 or 5, and then out of fuel. That is very sad indeed. So Black Binders,
yes, but I think he made P7 still, because drivers behind him have were lap drivers. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
He lost 3 positions.
He's dropping a little bit more, I think.
And that puts Torbjörn Lindau in position number 5. Yes, please.
No, yes, please. No, it's a whisper. The anthem, don't forget.
And with Torbjörn Lindau across the finish line, it's time for the anthem for our race winner today, for Roland Ehnström. So stand by. Okay, the guys are with me, and of course, huge, massive congratulations first for surviving what was obviously a really difficult race in adverse conditions here, weather-wise, at Virtual Spa. And Roland Ehnström, you finished first. Is it true that you have never lost a virtual match at Spa?
Thanks. Yeah, in a GT car, I have never lost since GTR 1.
That is absolutely outstanding. And today, would you say it was one of the more easy victories or one of the more difficult victories?
Well, it was a typical Spa race, I would say. The weather doing what it does here, and it was I was pushed all the time in the first stint by Rami. So I had to keep my lines and hope that he didn't get past. In that kind of weather, you race the track more than the competitors. So I just kept my pace and hoped that he couldn't get past, and he didn't. Then I think we pitted at the right time and got a little gap, and I think he spun also, so the gap got bigger. And after that, it was easy, of course, because I had a 20-second gap, and I had my wet set up, which is pretty easy to drive on a dry track, so just driving to the finish.
Brilliant. And what tires did you pick? That was the big question. It's a pity we can't see that on our screen. So we suppose you went for slicks, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely. Started on wets, and they were great until lap, I think, 13 or something, and then they started getting really, really hot very quickly, and then there were blue skies, and the team said pit for slicks, and we did, and then there were no more rain, so that was good.
Okay, so everything worked fine for you, and second position, if I'm not mistaken, was Rami. Rami, congratulations to you too, and must have been frustrating to see Roland opening up this gap in the pits.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I did. I lost some 8 seconds on the pit because I did 2 laps more than Roland and almost spun on that last lap. And then I did my pit, and after that I did spin, so the gap was 20 seconds. So that's it. The first stint was really, really nice. I was a little bit faster, but the second stint was not able to catch Roland.
Yeah, we saw you 1 or 2 times really very close to Roland. Was there ever any chance where you say, okay, just a little more and I could have gotten him?
Maybe, but I didn't want to destroy our race, so I didn't push that hard, but I was a little bit faster.
Yeah, you had superb clean lines is what we saw, so apparently your ride was a bit smoother than Roland.
Yes, it was really good setup. It was my wet setup, but when it's drying, it was not so good anymore. So
okay. Well, that brings us to third position, Cristian Haba, and I just said this is your first race this season. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. It's my first race for a long time.
Well, great to have you back, and you finished on the podium already. How about your race? Could you keep the speed of the first 2, or what kept you from moving higher up?
Well, in practice and in real race, it's totally different. I could, in my rain lap times could have been much faster, but that first stint really shook me up. The start was a bit tough. Getting moved around a little bit, I was able to grab second again, and when I saw that Rami was catching me up very fast, I decided to let him go. I knew he's the rain master in our team, so there was no point in holding him up. Otherwise, the race overall was just very frustrating with the conditions, offline, online. You had to be very focused.
Okay, and will we see another race by you in one of the 2 last STC races, Le Mans next week and then Daytona in 3 weeks?
I hope so. I'm more attuned to dry races, but I'll take whatever they can give me.
Yeah, well, Le Mans should Le Mans should be changeable again, but Daytona looks like a dry race, last race of the season. Also, it's on more your part of the world.
That's true. That's true. Congrats to the top two. I really couldn't keep pace with them, especially with Roland and Rami. Rami was outstanding.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I think that sums up the interviews for... thanks guys, great racing from you. I hope the show was okay for the viewers as well. Sorry to all the guys who couldn't finish. Congratulations to everyone who did finish in these adverse conditions. And see you again, or hear you again, next week at Virtual Le Mans. And again, it's a new track layout. It's the current layout that we're using. So sorry, forget to say bye-bye to Andreas. Bye Andreas, bye Jose, bye David.
Bye everybody.
Bye. See you next race.